Hello, everybody. We're back for more. Part 2 of the stream for Sunday. The 27th of October. 2019. Can't say I've decided which one I want to work on, right? Do we want to work on the currency system? Right, so the block that mines the blocks, the block that mines the materials, or do we want to work on the archers? By the way, I thought of an upgrade for the archers. In fact, let's just go ahead and run Minecraft here so I can show what I'm thinking. That was one of my concerns about archers, right? Was how do you increase their potency? Other than adding like punch or power to their bows that they have. And the best way that I can think of, hey Reaper, best way I can think of to make like a level 2 archer is to have, what? So monkey, bring me a brief explanation of what's the smartest? What do you mean what's the smartest? The best way I think to do level 2 is to have crossbows instead of bows, right? Not sure how to implement that yet. You know, I don't think I want to do the same as what they did in vanilla Minecraft as far as how those guys start to attack. Reaper, it's an RTS. It's in the description of the video. It's been guessed. I thought you knew that, but maybe not. We've got formations working with the units, which is kind of cool. If I select him, her, and him, and tell them to come to me, they will do so. And they will do so trying to. There they go. Now they're finally getting in line. By lining up. Oh no! I clicked on him! Crap! I also made it so that if you click on an entity with it, they will kill that entity. And it works on their own teammates. Real-time strategy game. So, Planetary Annihilation is a real-time strategy game. I know you know what that is. So they're gonna go beat up their friend there. As they can. That's too funny. But yeah, this is how it works. They'll line up in formation. If there's more of them, it makes more sense how they're lining up in formation. Quite a few more here. Okay, all these guys will add to our formation. I don't want to shoot them with a bow. And if I tell them to come here, they will do that. Once they get past each other, oh no! Yeah, that works. Just clicking all the wrong things tonight. Now you guys can come out of there. Yeah, they're trying to get past each other to go into formation. There we go. So that's the line that they're in. If I go forward with them a little bit now, they'll all line up a little bit better. You can see they're in a nice tight formation. And they will travel in that formation, right? So come over to there, and they move as one unit basically. Obviously, if somebody falls in a hole and gets a little bit behind trying to get out, they'll be behind then, right? But that's the idea. It takes into account the direction I'm facing, right? So the front of the formation will be the direction I am facing when I click it. So if I click there, that'll be the front, and the second row behind it will be the shorter of the two rows. But if I face this way, they will line up in this direction, facing that way. Not actually their facing of their head or anything like that, just the orientation of the line. Fill our divots here. Let's kill these guys up. We don't want you anymore. You guys can fight for the death. And fight for the death. If I click every other one, then they fight each other. Okay. You can see my world of end rods here is all the different testing I was doing the formation, because before I was getting the entities to walk there, I was just placing blocks in the correct orientations. You can see this is the kind of example. The fence post is where I click, and then the orientation of what it should look like. It started varying when I got down that far, but that's the basic concept. If there's an even number, in order to make it look nice, the other even number guy goes in the back. Let me change my headset battery. Hey, Bluestone. Seems like your Kickstarter's had some good activity today. This fence is okay. Just a sec, I'm trying to get my headset battery charging. Finicky. There we go. Now it's charging. I'm not sure if it's your changes in your what do you call them? Reward tiers? Unlock tiers? I forget what they're called. If it's that, or if it's, you know, just because it's the weekend, got more attention to it or somehow. What's a Roman Sheila? Do you mean a Roman shield formation? Roman shield. The Sheila formation might be an Australian thing. Just maybe. What I would like to do, just to test some stuff out, and the shield is a great way of doing it, so why don't we use that? When we spawn this guy, why don't we see if we can get him to spawn with the shield? For fun of it. So here it is, we are setting the spawn in. So can we add equipment to it? UE.get equipment. We do set equipment. Nope. Let's set dot equip. It's just a stack of items. Set. Mimi da oh Minecraft. Okay. Well, we can set their held item, that's for sure. And we can do it in there offhand. So hand offhand item stack. So new item stack items shield. Bob. Okay, let's spawn one guy in. I don't know what you're saying, man. Reaper, translate. It looks Spanish. Please, por favor. Okay, he does not have anything in his hand, does he? Now, is that because shields don't render in their hands? I don't know. Let's make sure it does run. I have some that spawn with sticks that spawn fireballs. Yeah, I thought about some wizards, yeah. If it equals main hand, okay. Stacked slot. Equipment slot type. It's not Spanish. Oh, okay. It's literally just putting it in their hand. Okay. Well, let's try a main hand, because they should have a main hand at the very least. I would hope. Instead, oops. Let's go into the Sare. Maybe they don't render what's in their offhand. Wait 10 seconds. Nothing. Oh, didn't finish spawning it right. Let's try this too, just in case it's something where it's not sending it to the client. Ah, he didn't have anything. I guess like a creeper has no inventory, right? So this is probably along the same line of class hierarchy as a creeper. So if we do type hierarchy, okay, so mob entity, if we do type hierarchy on that, creature entity, monster entity, and zombies down there along with creeper. We know zombies can have inventory slots, so let's see what's special about them. Don't see anything yet. Unless it's just the way they're rendered, which is possible. It's definitely dealing with different things in their slots and dropping them. Set equipment based on difficulty. Gives armor or weapons to entity based on. Yeah, okay. So we are doing it correctly. We're setting a new item stack based on which hand it is. Oh, that could be it. We're doing hand on equipment slot type. That could be the whole deal right there. It's like the wrong type or whatever. Dot. Main hand. Yeah, I bet that was lit the whole time. It's gonna be weird having a shield in your main hand, but hey, we're gonna go with it for the moment. Wait, set held item. Oh, that wants a hand. Okay, so that is different. What is set item stacked slot? Oh. So that's something specific on the mob entity. Okay. Well, we can do that instead then. Save. Play. There it is. Now we can play it. You're probably messed up because you were crashing. Next one. Get rid of the breakpoint too. Still nothing, huh? Stone sword. Master of Cat and Kittens. Hello. What a name. Still nothing. Okay, so what I think it might be is our render then, maybe? Although he's not dropping them, is he? Which is interesting too. Yes, I'm making a Minecraft mod. If all goes well, this will be my second released Minecraft mod. Let's see. So we want to go to a rendering code. This client, render minion. We are off of render mob right now. Zombie code under client renderer. Entity models. Zombie renderer is off of abstract zombie renderer, which is off of biped render, which is off of mob render. Apply rotations. Not seeing anything in here. So this one is going to be a real-time strategy game in Minecraft. So most mods add functionality to survival. That's what my other one does. But this one is about playing a strategy game with your friend. At least that's the idea. So let's do this one. Zombie renderer. Go to type hierarchy. See where we're at in the hierarchy here. Abstract biped. Okay. Mob renders in there. Yeah, mob renders there as well. We're really not overwriting much in here, so it should be mostly vanilla or plain functionality from this. Could also be in the model though, couldn't it? Let's check that. Be weird for it to be there though. So zombie renderer takes a zombie model. If we go to that one and look at its hierarchy, found abstract zombie model. Quite a bit of code here. Set rotations. Oh, okay, that's it. And biped. Not saying much about the armor though. So it does have crossbow stuff in it. Active item stack. Too many of them in one spot, that's what that noise was. What's the Below the Stone thing? Below the Stone is a game made by one of the people who was in chat here just a moment ago that they have on Kickstarter, and I said, if you want to advertise on my stream, go for it. So you'll see that there's characters at the bottom of the screen there with names of people that are in there. You can interact with those characters in my stream. So if I drop those star and you do exclamation point jump, like that, your character will then jump. To try and catch the star, and you get points for catching the star, blah blah blah. So there's definitely crossbow and bow and all this stuff type of arm poses that are in here. And there's this. I think we're already based off of this biped model renderer though. Let's take a look. Wait, if we just go to the top and do type hierarchy here. We're based off a player model. Interesting. Because originally we wanted the player's head, didn't we? What would it take for us to switch it back, though? To go off a biped model again. Probably not too much. It's got our own render function versus this one's probably got its own render. Yep, is child. Should render sneaking. Okay. Set living animations. These guys are just randomly dying because they're all in one spot. There. What is this method? Set rotation angles. Yeah, see, so this is happening here. But in the player model, what set type rotation angles do? Does it call super? It does. Which would do all of this. Let's still try it. So we've got our player model, minion render, which is off a minion model. And that's player model. So if we did biped, instead, okay, that changes our super stuff. Take, we need the model size only then. Versus player model needed model size and if the arms were small. So Is that the only place we're broken now? Looks to be, but let's check one more thing. There should be a init, no, proxy probably. I want to make sure there's no rendering code being called in here. Minion renderer, minion entity, that's fine. Okay. Let's try running it like this. See if we get some armor in their hands. I mean, we could rely on vanilla, or my own rendering code, I should say, to render out the items in their hands and stuff like that, but I don't want to have to. Oh, okay. What we got going on here? Oh, we just have breakpoint turned on. It wasn't before. My Eclipse is like a dog today. Let's kill this too. In that window. Should help. Probably have like 600 backups of this world because of that message. Oh, awesome. Maybe we shouldn't use that renderer. It's not showing anything in their hand either, so it didn't help. That's funny. It's just the UV coordinates are different for the normal mob, apparently. Okay, let's just close that. Minion model. Control Z. Okay. I am back again. Did I really ever go anywhere? I just took a break. Okay, we're not getting these guys to render anything in their hands tonight, apparently. I'll have to figure out what's up with that later. I thought it'd be as easy as adding them something into their hand, but apparently it's not. We add it there. Let's take a breakpoint right there. No, right there. And see what the inventory of this guy is. Both the U, E, and the E entities. Make sure I'm not crossing my wires here as to what's going on. Hey Tech, does the entity renderer have a layered held item? Alt, you're amazing. Layered. So I didn't specifically call anything out like that, but I am going off of the player model. So on the in the renderer. Okay, let's look. Let's look. So the render. So there's my basic render, and it just does the mob renderer. You're saying a layered held item. I guess the rendering layers I'm not familiar with. living renderer. Render layers. Add render layers. So you can add a layer. Is that what you're talking about? 114. So this is a different mod than you've probably seen last. Decided to learn 114 as I'm making a new mod. I just need to see where these layers are used. I believe it's probably layers. That sounds familiar to me. At least from other stuff. So here, render layers. I was just taking a wild guess that if I just added the item. But I do remember remember layer constructors in the render constructs. Okay. Right, we were looking at zombie render before. Let me look at it again. So I mean, zombie render is really not much to it anymore. So if you look at abstract zombie renderer, nothing about layers. If you look at the biped renderer, nothing about render. Oh wait, right there. Let's try it. So this is in the constructor of the renderer. So we want our minion renderer, constructor. Ta-da! Let's try it. I want to do armor too for these guys eventually, but one step at a time, I guess. I'm going to stop it. Okay, so it's trying to spawn my guy. I want to take a look at this UE. Make sure it's got a... Oh, it's outside of it, okay. So, E. Gosh, what would the inventory of this guy even be in? Inventory hands, there we go. It's got stacks. Item sword, so he should be holding a sword. First off, let's kill everything. At E. TS art type equals TS RTS minion. Boom. And it's on a breakpoint. So we will continue, remove that breakpoint. Everything's dead. Okay, now let's wait for the next one to spawn. So this block spawns them every 10 minutes, or every 10 seconds. So he didn't have it. Is this something that only gets constructed on startup for some reason? I doubt it. Oh, maybe I'm right. Probably need to restart Minecraft then, don't I? Get it, Eagle. You need to do sling. Sling 45. It throws you at an angle across the screen, so you spend more time at the right height, or you have more distance at the right height. Okay, so that does run at startup, so that probably wasn't even considered before though. So the weird thing is, if this is, where did we get that from? The biped render? Yeah, so that's in biped render, right? The minion render is off of mob render, which if we do the type hierarchy on that, it's off of biped. Oh, wait, biped's one step down. Do we just need to do biped render then? And solve all of our stuff. That might be the most sense, huh? We've already got entity texture. Yeah, something like that, but I would say 45 instead of 27 because it might be too much horizontal movement, not enough up. Why didn't I think of that before? I was looking at the models, not the renders. So if this works, then that's the solution, I think. Try and base it off of biped render instead of mob render? Mob render. Because that adds the extra layers, and we don't have to do anything. Bingo. Thank you. Thank you yet again, Alt. So, Alt, what mod have you made? Because you have all the answers, it seems. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to get all the way out of it. We're going to go to minion render and switch this out to biped render. Ah, see, that's you're wrong. You've been part of TechStack's heavy machinery mod, and now the RTS mod that I'm working on. Thank you all. I'm gonna take a guess that if you showed up in other people's streams and things, you probably contributed to their mods as well. So I guess while this is loading up the game yet again, let's go into our utilities here. And we're already setting our main hand to have a stone sword. So let's see if what we first tried, that I backed out on because I wasn't sure if it was going to work because of what we were doing. If we can set the offhand. I got rid of you. Come on, Eclipse. You can keep up with me, I swear. So slow. Utilities. So off and isn't going to be a stone sword. It's going to be a shield. Because somebody asked if we can make a Roman shield formation. The answer is kind of, right? Like, you can't, they're not going to turn to the side and stuff, but it'll still look cool. Oh, awesome. So he's right-handed. Nice! So the next thing I want to do, let's make sure that the armor works too. UE dot set item stack slot blah blah blah. Equipment slot type head. And it's new. Well, the animation and actual shield blocking will be a pain. Right. Shield blocking will be a pain. I may not use shields, to be honest, but I think the animation for attacking will be automatic. It should swing its arm, basically what I'm saying. Item stack items dot diamond helmet. Next guy that spawns should get that. And they're not. But let's see. Head. Biped render. The biped render definitely had a held item layer. And it has a head layer. If item is a skull. What other layers are there? So type hierarchy on this. Layer render, type hierarchy on that. Awesome. There's an armor layer type. Gotcha. So we just need to find where that's constructed and do the same then. Biped armor layer specifically. Okay, so where's the call hierarchy on this? Abstract zombie render, I just didn't see it before. Boop. And this goes into our minion render then. Right? Yeah, because we took everything else out, okay. Then what are those parameters for? I do not know. Gotta love the names that are still crazy. Model leggings, model armor. It wants models? It's a final A. What's A? There it is. Look at the constructors for which one. So if I go to like where zombies are constructed, it's the past values for the zombie abstract. So if I do that, ground model. This layer is rather weird. Yeah, it is. Let's do the regular zombie. So it takes a new zombie, a new zombie model with a different size. Comment M extends multi or zombie model T. Well, this is definitely what we need to get added. We just need to figure out what the the parameters are for it as those guys go dying in the background. It's gonna be models, right? I'm just having a brain aneurysm about it. That's the first parameter. That's the second parameter. Okay. And we already said the first parameter goes to leggings. The second one goes to model armor. So, legs, armor. I don't get why the legs would be separate unless it's because they have to move. So, model, minion, new model, oh, minion model, sorry. Forget that they redid these naming convention. Instead of model render, it's or model minion, it's minion model. I like the way it is now, don't get me wrong. It's just an annoying change. And because that's a layer in this, we'll have to restart the whole game. Good chance this will crash, because I don't really know if that's the right format for what they're looking for. My minion model has a constructor with no parameters on it because I'm doing everything in the super class. Just assumed, basically. So that makes the parameters for these easy, but I don't know that it's going to work because we can't change the size this way. So we might need to create another one that's with dynamic sizes. In order, because what I'm afraid is going to happen is we're going to have big pants on a little guy. But we'll find out. Or a big hat on a little guy. I think that's a big hat and a little guy, but I could be wrong. They definitely have armor on their head. However, it doesn't quite look right. It's like the worst armor in the world. He covers everything but the... He covers the front of their face and the top of their face only. Everything else is open. Oh, okay, okay. So, where was the call hierarchy for that again? Face protect. Yes, just face protection. Don't worry about anything else, please. Oh. So it says 0.5. And that's the size parameter, and I don't get model size, 0.5. Okay. So we'll do size. What was the second parameter? Just true or false, the small arm stuff. Okay. Is it a float? Shit looked. Yeah, it's a float. Float. And we'll just call super size. And true, because I think both of those were true. I'm surprised this just works for little guys. Why is the second parameter bigger than this first parameter on both of them that use it? Why is the size different? Like the legs need to be bigger? Or the overall armor needs to be bigger? Could also be that we're just passing 1 or 0 to that. Minion model. Nope. So back in this, right? Yeah, we can say 1.5F and 1F. It'd be really cool if like you had your own custom armor helmet with like eye holes in it to put it just in his face. Once we get this piece working, I'm gonna make a commit here for GitHub. We've got something that's actually functional. It may not be complete, but it's at least usable, and I can tweak it from there. Assuming the helmet is the right size now. But to be only on his ears or something, no? Nope, no difference. It's actually a little bit bigger on them. It's separated from their face a little bit. Huh. I'm tempted to spawn one with pants now, because the leg model's a different thing. And it has a different sizing scale. Armor layers. No, we want our utilities is what we want. Legs. Dot leggings. Let's go with iron, sure. Come on, realize that that's a good piece of code. Thank you. Hey, man. He's got one boot on. What the heck? He's making a fashion statement, I guess. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Oh. Okay. Took a screenshot for later. Real economical armor hours. Yeah, he only plans on being attacked on this side or his face or the top. Makes him faster this way, be half as much weight. I don't know. I just don't know. So our superclass is going to add several layers, right? Is it the order that we're getting them added in or something? I don't think so. Let's look at the zombie render again. So it's doing super. It's doing its super, which is adding those layers, then adding the biped armor. Okay, so that's not the issue. We're doing the same type of order. Biped armor layer, biped armor layer. Let's crank this back up to 1. That's gonna make us restart, isn't it? Dang it. Let's also, in our constructor for a model, pass a 1 here. Because we set this to 0 because I wasn't quite sure what the first parameter was about. What does the zombie model, though, do? Its constructor. It sets it to 0 as well. Okay. Huh. Now this is doing something based on that last one, whether it's small arms or not. Ah, okay. And that's being cast up to super, which is the abstract zombie model. Okay. Which is going to biped model. And that's texture width and the texture height. That makes sense, doesn't it? So the 2 parameter constructor does this 4 parameter, or however many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 parameter constructor of its superclass. Okay. So in our Indian model, can we call the 4 parameter one here? don't have those parameters, but we have size. And we can set this to 32 or 64 on our own. We're going to go with 32 first because we're small, right? We're a minion. And it still doesn't like it. Okay, so that doesn't exist in the superclass? No, because we're extending player model to the biped model. Oh, I was just saying I've already considered potentially having something like a minion or a wizard. Biped models, constructors, the minimum requirement is 1, or is none actually. So our normal one will have none as well. Okay, now I just a moment ago tried doing the biped model, but it could have been messed up by the fact that we didn't do this one at all with its proper call out to the size of the UVs, basically texture, width, and height, and all that stuff. Because basically his face was on top of his head and all that stuff. Because I'm pretty sure the zombies texture and the player's texture, their layout's basically the same in the texture file. Is there some differences in the layout though? Okay, so we fixed the armor by doing that, right? We've got armor rendering correctly. We just don't have the player's arms can be 3 pixels wide. Yes. So how do we get one without a helmet now? Let's see. There he is. See, this is the texture, how it's laying out. But could we do this up here as well to fix that? I don't know. Need to stop guessing and start looking at it and making sure, but I think I know what I'm doing. Size, so let's do 1. It's definitely because we're doing the biped model in this case. I've got a texture for a player model, which is what my model was originally based off of, but now we moved it up to be biped model because that's the parent class of the... Oh wait, the type hierarchy. Let's do that. Let's do the type hierarchy. Look at what player model calls against its superclass, and that'll be what we need to do. Chicken man. Spawn chickens. Okay. Type hierarchy. Biped model is player model. Player model calls what on its superclass? The 4-digit one. So as soon as we need to call the 4-digit one for parameter 1, which is what we're doing. It's just we're calling it with 32 instead of 64. So we might need to change that to say 64 in the last one. Let's see. It takes the size to 0, which is just a hard-coded value apparently, and 64, 64. Okay. Ah, okay. The way players do their own model and armor scale is entirely different from the zombies. Yeah. I think we're getting close though. I think we're on the right track. kind of be based on the model size too, right? Scale factor, okay. Right, 100%. I just need this to be called in the same way it was being called before. Because we were creating a player model, passing this in from this, right? We had super call that would go to player model, call this version of player model, which would call the super class, which is biped model. And now I'm just directly saying super on our biped model to the 64. It should work. The only one I'm not sure about is that first integer, 1. It might need to be 0 because that's what we were doing before for some crazy reason because I didn't know what it did. But it all looked good. Bingo. Except for that guy's head's all funky. Why is your head so big, dude? All of the rest of them are fine. They're wearing their armor as they should. But this guy right here, he's jumbo head. Is it because he doesn't have a helmet on, it's keeping his same head size? So let's go here in the utilities again. The layer head part. But layer head was... Let's take the helmet off first and see if it just does it for another one. I bet it will. So now the next guy that spawns should not have a helmet anymore. And he's got a huge head. Okay. They've got bigger arms, all of them, too. We need to set the smaller arm flag. Oh, gosh, where was that at? It's not in here anymore, though, is it? Is it this model size? It very well could be the model size. Because that scales all of the different aspects of the model. Okay, so if it's that, then show me the call hierarchy for this. For the zombie, let's see, so... Abstract zombie model. But it just automatically calls it. But, let's keep going. Takes model size there. Model size of 0. Scale factor. Model box. Delta. Delta. So it's going to subtract nothing. Yeah, the delta. Delta become, yeah. Okay. Minion model. Size 0. For this is his head. This is his armor stuff. right? Right. Sure. So just while this is starting up, you said layer head, so let's look. And our super class, we've got our biped model, but we also have layer head in the super class. So it is getting a layer head. There we go. Their arms look correct. Their heads look correct. Awesome. Okay, so kills at E type T. Everybody's dead. Now, let's go to utilities. Where's my spawn? Oh, right. It's not in there. We want it. It's in the garrison. Was utilities? What the heck? Let's put in the main hand a bow. Just see how it looks. We'll spawn one like that. It's already running. I don't know if the bow is going to be funny being on a little guy. Doesn't look too bad. Okay. Let's look at the crossbow then. Did save it. Looks fine as well. Okay, so to me, what we need to have is some type of way of letting the user select what armor and equipment they have, be it leather through... do we want leather? I don't know. Be it iron or diamond armor, or what weapon they should have from the various stone types. Or sword types, I mean. Now, we could do that as one prepackaged unit, right? So on the GUI itself, if we go into, say, here, Photoshop, just use this as a prototyping thing. Let's get rid of all this. Now, we could have multiple buttons on the screen is what I'm getting at, right? So the first button might be this blue area that spawns in your tier 1 guy who has no armor, no weapon, no anything, right? Then we could have a second button that's awesome. I didn't select the color. Come on, draw it in. we go. And then, if I just move that. There's no way to move that selection, is there? So, and then a third one that's, let's say yellow for tier 3. Right, so this could be option 1 for how the buttons, the layout looks, right? It gives us more white space to do other things with this, like assign a unit to a given control group, right? So that they're automatically selected for you when you hit the number pad 1, for example. Alternatively to this, though, we could have a GUI that's, you know, we're building a unit. Let's deselect it. A specific unit, right? And it doesn't really need a selection up here. It's just we're building swordmen, right? Melee units. And then it's got a spot for their head. Let's do this. Oh, that's huge. Let's try like 18. No, that's way too big. 10-point font. And not that crazy font. Arial. Why is that so blurry? Oh, we're 500% zoomed in. So we have a head spot. Enter, duplicate you, and then like this would be the body slot, the chest slot, whatever, and so on, right? So we'd have one for each area. Dang it. And then you'd have different classes of materials that those spots could be. So one would be empty. Gee, let's go with like, I don't know, a black to represent nothing. New layer. Right, and that would be duplicated all the times down, right? Like these would be toggle buttons, so it would be pushed in or pushed out. And then your next one up might be, say, iron. You were talking about Chicken Man. I don't know what you had in mind about that. What did we say about Chicken Man? He would literally spawn rage killer chickens. Okay. Now you are trying to be like Tabs. 128, 28, 128. No. Just a selection, please. Cool. So there'd be a series of buttons over here of a different color. Different whatever, right? To indicate those. And then another one for diamonds. Maybe one for leather. And whichever one you select is what those people get. But what that means for you is you have a base cost for your unit and an additional cost for each thing that you would select for them, right? It gets complicated. And it eats up a lot of screen real estate compared to doing it any other way. My wife is messaging me, so give me 1 second. What is the mod that looks like an elephant, but it spawns the pillager? A mob. You can get like a baby version of those. Might stop here in a minute, guys. Wife's trying to get me to do something. Okay, so I guess we have options there as to what it is, right? Do we force them to get all decked out in that armor? I'm leaning towards that because it's probably simpler. But it gives you less options, right? And it probably makes the characters more expensive overall because you have to have the entire set of armor, basically, right? But at the same time, then it gives us more flexibility where we can, you know, if it's iron, we don't have to have a piece of iron for every piece of armor, right? We could say if you have one armor, that's enough to buy that guy. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Reaper. The Ravagers have this big guy they can summon in. I bet I passed it because I've seen Ravager in one of those. I think it's called the Ravager, actually. That thing. Actually, here. Is he gonna attack my guys? Kinda. You all be gang up on him and kill him. He is kind of bad. Okay, yeah, I gotta stop streaming the next half hour or so. Come on, guys, you can kill him. Why, do you want a baby version of this guy, though? Oh my gosh, he got flung back so far. So, what I'm not sure about here is if my guys, they killed him, he is very tough to kill. I tried killing him in survival before. If my guys actually take more armor out of the armor. Okay. So they can ride it? Oh, that'd be cool, huh? Let's see, can we say summon Minecraft? I don't even know if they have a baby version of it, though. Ravager. At this coordinate, yep. And its MBT data is going to be is child, is baby. Equals 1B. That's the baby. Really? They're the same size. I don't think baby works for these. You know they have horses in Minecraft, right? I mean, look how much damage he can take. And those guys killed him? I'm doing crit hits. Can baby horses be ridden though? You're not going, are you? Riding chickens, yeah. Chicken jockeys, right? You're distracting me, Reaper. Okay, so if I want to make an archer version of these guys, it's simple enough to do. It's them right with a bow. Yeah. I think I'm going to hold on making the archers because I want to get the rendering and the graphics or the entity set up correctly to begin with. Work through that stuff. That we don't have to try and maintain two different pieces of code for it, for the AI and all that stuff. We will need some maps for it eventually, Reaper. I wouldn't jump on it yet because I'm not sure what the areas, like the size of what we want to do would be, but it makes sense. Because it's going to be based on how far you can command them, right? You don't want to have to like run 1,000 blocks if you made it a 1,000. So it could be a 3v3v3v3 too, right? There's up to 4 teams, and there's no limit on how many people can be on a team. The way it's set up. If I do everything I have on my mind, there's going to be a lot to do. Let's say so. Minion, armor, render, incorrect. Thanks, alt, Kindle. Attack! Okay. So keep in mind some things then, Reaper. What we'll need to play the map, we'll need spots of the various iron, gold, diamonds. Within the world, on the surface. Not like that, but like that probably, right? Because these will be our resources that we need to go collect for the game. And the way we collect them is to put a mining outpost on top of them, another block. I get what you're saying, but also you need some exposed stone too. So that's going to be another resource. We will definitely have gold, we will definitely have iron, we will definitely have diamond. Stone will be another one, because you'll need to mine stone deposits to be able to build stone bricks so that you can build your defenses into the game. Part of this is building. If you want it to be. I guess you don't have to do the building. There's also a good chance we might need some wood, so having, let's say oak trees, to make it simpler. in the area would be good. Like fully grown ones. We might have characters that go and collect the wood for you. ODDMZ. I know what DMZ is, but what's OD? Dwarves versus zombies? Huh. I don't know about dwarves versus zombies. I've heard plants versus zombies. So a game like that, if assuming it's like Plants vs. Zombies, is close to a real-time strategy game, but it's actually a tower defense. You don't go out and attack, you only defend. Instead of NPCs, you add real players. Oh, cool. Oh, yes! I know what you're talking about. It was a game in Minecraft where there was like a big tower, and pretty much everybody started out with a tower on the dwarf side, and as the dwarves died, they became zombies or various other monsters that came and attacked the tower. Yes. That's one of the things that got me into setting up TSCraft to be a PvP server and building mods, basically. That was one of the early things that, like, that looks fun. I want to play with people like that. Yep, let's start the build. And in this, you can continue to build. There's nothing stopping you from replacing things that get destroyed. But what I want to have is these guys will go take out the other person's army and attack the player, right? But they won't necessarily attack the blocks in the game. So you'll have some other things that can attack blocks. Maybe it'll be a creeper. I don't know. But it's going to have its own AI where it'll like run up and start hammering on a block and trying to break it, or blast the blocks, things like that. And one of the things that they'll be blasting is these garrisons and various different blocks that are owned by the enemy opponent, right? Because taking those out stops them from getting more units, right? Same thing with the mine blocks. So we're going to set a block over these ore deposits, and that block will continually mine that ore deposit, collecting resources for your team. So taking these out means they don't have resources, which means they can't buy a troop in the garrison, for example. Maybe you can put brick stones down to build and creeper on the enemies with automatically go explode that. I guess that's a possibility too. Thinking or expanding on what you're talking about, we could have a block in the game. Let's use clay blocks, for example, that are the blocks that you have to defend, that is your home area. And once all those blocks are gone, game over for you, right? Okay, guys, I think I'm going to stop here because I know what else I need to do, and it will take me longer than the 20 minutes or so I have, because I need to go do something outside the house. So I will catch you guys maybe tomorrow. Until then, see you later. Have fun. Subscribe, like, favorite, tweet. I don't know what else. Goodbye, everybody.